Tour junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the 3M Open betting show snooze fest. Just kidding. We're going to have a great time, folks. Majors are over. The Open is over. Xander Schauffele is your champion golfer of the year. And we don't have another major until April 2025. When the Masters comes back in our lives. Gosh dang it. Pat, let's do a little Open recap. We're going to do that. We've got some fun listener-submitted questions. We're going to have a good time with these listener-submitted questions on both the betting show and the DFS show about the majors. And, of course, we're going to talk about the golf course for the 3M Open, our outrights, some top 20 bets. But let's start with the Open Championship and Xander Schauffele. Can you believe it? What if I told you that Xander Schauffele would win not just his first major, which everyone said could not be done at Valhalla, but then wins his second at the Open at Royal Troon? I had to think about which Royal we were looking at.
Yes.
Because I was just looking at Portrush for next year because there was a question about that. What do you think, man? Huh? How about it?
Yeah, I mean, look, Xander is no longer the one that can't win a major because now he's won two. And it was, I mean, what a win it was. I mean, probably one of the rounds of his life. He played absolutely fantastic, and he deserved to win. I mean, it was just it was a clinic yesterday, and I watched it from start to finish, and he really just kind of, just slowly made his way up the board, and then he just put the hammer down on that back nine. It was great play. I think there was some, there's guys like Tristan Lawrence up there was very interesting. I mean, he's been playing well on DP World Tour, and I think he played pretty well, outside of just Xander coming in there and taking it. Billy Horschel finishing strong. You had the Bulldog Russell Henley, who really didn't play bad. He just couldn't get anything to drop. I think he got hurt by the distance on Sunday, but back to Xander, it was great to see, and I think we're gonna see more majors out of Xander now. I think the gates have opened up for sure.
What's the how many? Xander is 30 years old. How many majors does Xander end his career with?
I mean, I think he could get to 5.
5?
Yeah. He plays good in every single major.
He does.
Where's the major he doesn't play well in?
He's been very consistent. Very, very consistent. It goes to show you, too, like maybe it's, for a lot of those guys, you have your stories like Wyndham Clark where they don't do anything in majors. They all of a sudden they win one with the right fit, the right week at the right time. But then guys like Xander who have just been extremely consistent. It's what we all thought Ricky Fowler was going to do a few years back. Remember when he was on his major run of just doing great things in majors? It's what some fools think Patrick Cantlay is going to eventually do. Does it not just is it just me, or is there like some dissonance between Xander and Cantlay being best friends in your mind? Because like I Xander is kind of a very reserved guy, but we see these glimpses of him. Like we saw the Ryder Cup a couple years ago. The picture came out with him today. He's got the cigar, he's got the trophy, he's throwing up he's throwing up the chuck and the deuces. He actually, like, Xander actually seems like a cool guy and seems fun to be around. He's got a little bit of a sense of humor, but he just doesn't on the course. He's very level. And Cantlay just actually legitimately seems to be a douche canoe on and off the course. And then they're like the two best friends that anybody could have. Is it just weird? You know what I mean? It's probably the same thing a lot of people think about me and you. They probably think I'm Patrick Cantlay and you're Xander Schauffele.
Well, first off, I don't know why we got to even bring up Cantlay. I feel like you were just, this is like you're dangling a little hook in front of me, trying to hook me into some kind of conversation about that. I mean, Cantlay didn't do anything this past weekend. Xander did.
Yeah. Well, he just,
why are we talking about Cantlay?
Cantlay kind of skipped and, he kind of is like he just kind of stuttered around kind of like your internet. By the way, I'm going to take you out for a second because I just want to show the people something, Pat. We are brought to you by our lovely friends at Swannies, and Swannies has a new collection up, the Tilted Tiki collection. And I got to be honest, you're going to see DB in this shirt here pretty soon. You're probably going to see DB in this blade collar right here, which is extremely sexy. If you're somewhere where it's rainy, if you're listening to us from Scotland, if you just watch the Open and now you just kind of want to play in the rain and you itching to play in the rain, this Holden anorak, I think is Minnesotan because Swanee's based in Minnesota. I think anorak is Minnesotan for keep your ass dry. So that's really nice. And TJ25 gets you 25% off your entire order. If you're watching on YouTube, just look at these goodies. Look, they got the lady stuff in here. Look, wouldn't your girl look good in that? I mean, huh? Whose girl wouldn't, right? So get in there, get involved. Let me stop sharing my screen so Pat's internet gets better. And I'll bring Pat back in here because remember that was the working theory you had last.
Yeah, that was the
last
theory.
Week. But Swanees.co, link is in the description. This shirt is from Swanees. TJ25 gets you 25% off. They'll ship anywhere in the U.S. and Canada. We appreciate that. So to continue discussing the Open, by the way, thanks to our boy Darren, our UK listener Darren. He just sent us €5, Pat, which I'm pretty sure is like, that's got to be $50 given our inflation and how terrible the dollar is at the moment. He says my bets in the Open were bad. However, Nick Dunlap, 50-1 winner at the Barracuda Championship, and will there be a live golf video this week? There will be, Darren. I'm doing a live golf video. Pat, I welcome you to join me. Have you seen the images of JCB, the new host site, JCB Golf and Country Club in London, I believe?
I have not seen that.
It looks sick. It looks very, very sick. So I'm excited about that. It's the first year they've played there. I will be dropping that video on Wednesday, more than likely.
Look at that. Drape sent some money too.
Drape just typed it into the chat. Drape is an idiot.
Oh, well, it's showing up top like it. He just taped. I don't know. Whatever.
Maybe he did. I don't know. Who knows? Drape. I don't know what Drape's doing. Drape did ask a couple good questions though. He did. Then this brings us back to our Open discussion. And Pat, I think this has to get kicked off to you as the fantasy golf sommelier. If you were to win the Open, what is your drink of choice out of the claret jug?
Great question. It would be. I don't think it would be wine. Wine is really hard to kind of chug. I think you would need something that you could chug, and that also that you want to be a man of the people a little bit. Like you want some other people to be liking what you're having. So I think it would be. I think it would just be a gigantic transfusion. Tito's transfusion. That's what it would be.
Yeah, I really teed you up for that, and some would say that you whiffed. Do you know?
I just said I don't want wine out of it.
Do you know what the term claret means?
Like a wine carafe?
No. It's a red Bordeaux. It's actually a wine. It's a red Bordeaux wine.
No, claret is like a.
No, it's a red Bordeaux wine. Google it up. It's Googleable.
I gotta Google that.
Yeah.
But
I teed you up for it. You kind of struck out. I don't know. The Tito's transfusion is that's just, to me, that's not how I would start it. I definitely would not start it by it being any sort of a mixer. It's either like we're pouring straight,
or I'm just putting in some Guinness.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, Guinness makes a lot of sense. I definitely think some beer would be nice. It would be funny to just put like a Corona. I'm really digging like a good Corona Light with a lime right now. It's just, how sometimes you just go through phases. It's not like it's anything new, but just Corona with lime right now in the hot summer in Augusta just really slaps. You're blurry as all get out. Lord have mercy. Look at his internet, people.
Do you know what the number one beer in America is?
What is it?
Do you know what the number one beer in America is right now? Modelo.
No. Modelo? Can I be honest? I've never had one. I've never had them.
Google it. It's the number one beer in America right now.
I believe
it's in
you.
The Wall Street Journal.
I believe you. I'm saying I've never had one.
Okay, yeah, we don't have to fight about it.
Jeez. Oh, Pat. Okay, so I would either go. I mean, I might go if I was gonna go beer. I think I'd have to go Guinness, but I think I'd just go straight liquor, man. I think you just pour some
You would
whiskey in
go
there
straight liquor over a transfusion?
or tequila. Yeah, yeah, I think I would, and just pass it around till it's gone, and then put whatever you want in there. Or actually, I think what you should do is you should it should be a red Bordeaux wine. I think you should do that and pay homage to the claret.
Imagine the headache after that.
Well, I mean, yeah, you don't drink the whole thing, but I mean, I would not myself. I would share. I would share. We would guzzle it out. It's such a pretty trophy too. It was such a fun viewing experience. I absolutely love watching the Open. I thought Royal Troon was fantastic. It's not the number one, probably not the number two Open Championship venue for me, but it's close. It's right there in the middle. It's got enough action, had enough character. We got some conditions. We got some conditties. We wanted conditties and we got them. I was excited about that. And it was a great time. So our friend Hillboy in the Discord asks us to rank the major championship viewing experiences of 2024 as a viewer. How would you rank them? This year's Masters, this year's US Open or PGA at Valhalla, US Open with Bryson at Pinehurst, and then this past week with Xander at the Open Championship. From a viewer standpoint, where do you rank it?
I would go US Open 1. I would go PGA Championship 2.
PGA
The Open
Championship
3.
too?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised by that.
The
Why?
Open 3. The Open 3 and the Masters 4.
Why the PGA Championship 2?
Why not? Xander
Well, you
won
can't
like
don't
on the
a don't
last
ask
hole.
a question when I ask a question, don't ask another question, like, have an answer.
I'm
I'm
just
asking
saying, why not? Like Xander won on the last hole. It was, I mean, yesterday was kind of anticlimactic. It was a great round, but it was a little bit anticlimactic.
I
The
guess, yeah,
Masters
but I'm
definitely
I'm not
was.
thinking about, like, just Sunday, like, just the final hour or 2 hours, but the overall the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, PGA. I like the birdie fest that they had.
I just didn't like Valhalla.
And
Um,
the PGA Championship had Scotty Scheffler getting arrested. How
that
could
is
that
true,
not
that is
even
true.
be the top?
I
I
I
mean,
think I think that puts it number 3 for me because I was having a hard time between it's funny that you and I both have Augusta last, and it's obviously mostly because Scotty kinda ran away with it, and the back 9 was the back 9 on Sunday, those final 2 hours on Master Sunday is what you look for, and it quickly evaporated with Homa and Ludwig ejecting. Um, but for me, I think it goes US Open 1 for sure because you had Rory in contention, because you had the Bryson thing going, because it was Pinehurst. I think the US Open is number 1. The Open is number 2 for me. The way they broadcast it, the way that the app is amazing. Like, I don't think we talk enough about the Open app. The Open app is fantastic. Is it as good as the Masters app? I don't think so. But there are things that the Masters could do like that the Open app does really well that the Masters doesn't. Like, it's a great app for viewing.
it
Um,
is it is a pretty good app.
and just like the radio feed, everybody talks about and loves the radio feed, the Sky Sports team there, and the radio feed's fantastic. J- they just do it well, and I love watching links golf. And we got proper links golf. We got some weather. We got character at Royal Troon. I think it's hard to put even Scotty arrested at Valhalla. Like technically, that wasn't. I mean, it became part of the golf because it was like,
Well,
what is
you
he going
made
to
the
do after?
comment
It
the whole
became
entire tournament.
yeah, I know, but that's not really part of the tournament though. Like that was the circus before the tournament, but it did become part of the tournament. You're right. So that becomes number 3 for me because typically like Masters viewing as a viewer, the lack of commercial load, Jim Nance, the spring, the videos, the grass, the patrons, the all of it is just it's the best. It's usually the highest of it's just the elite every year. but I think it is number 4. So we both agree on that. Okay, good question there, Hillboy.
Let me ask a question. I have a question.
Okay.
What is the one common thing? What is the one common thing between all 4 winners of majors this year?
Oh, the Sh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good year to be a sh.
Yeah. If you got a Scheffler, DeChambeau, Schauffele, you were in it. You know,
You were right there.
and all the handicappers missed that. All the trends articles missed that.
Yeah.
Is there anything it could pivot to next year? We could get ahead of it. Are there are there at
I
least
don't know.
3 different dudes?
The other thing, by the way, is they were all Americans, which hasn't happened since 1982. We were reminded of that many times during the Open Championship broadcast.
So
I
kiss
don't know. I'm
ass.
trying to think of any sounds that players that
There's whenever I'm in bet the number and I start to type in like if I type in Homa to search for Max Homa, it'll start, whittling down live. The live search kicks in. And because Homa is also in Justin Thomas and Thomas Detry and Max Homa, there's potential 3 winners right there. It could be a year of the Homa. You could, if you're a Homa person, watch out next year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Our friend Easy Emmett in the Discord asks, what will our Olympics coverage look like next week? Oh, we're going to have Olympics coverage.
Heck yeah, we are.
You know we will. We had it last time. In fact, we crushed the Olympics coverage last year, or whenever last time we had it. I hit Sepp Straka at 150-1 first round leader. I don't remember us hitting. Did we hit? Who won gold? Justin Rose, or was
Xander.
it Xander? Xander won.
Xander won.
Did you have Xander? I don't think I had Xander. I know I had Sepp.
I had Sepp too, I think.
Okay. Anyway, yes, there will be Olympics coverage. We definitely want to cover that. It's at Le Golf National, a golf course that we walked for a miserable 3 days in 2018 for the Ryder Cup, and it is an interesting golf course. I don't think it's going to suit Wyndham Clark very well. I will say that. I think he's going to weigh the team down considerably. I could be wrong. I could eat my words there, but yeah. There will be Olympics coverage. Last question of Open recap, fun, and we'll move on. If you could compare one person's 2024 major season, their performance in 2024, to Joe Biden's presidency that is now going to come to an end as he is dropping out of the race. The big news that happened right after Xander. He waited till Xander lifted the claret jug. But if you could compare one player's 2024 major season to Joe Biden's presidency, who would it be, and why?
Well,
and listen, if you're in the YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, throw it in the chat. Give us your take, your thoughts. Love to see it. Would laugh out loud at a few of them if you give us some good reasons. Maybe try a fun angle. Like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. That would be great. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating, please. It would help us out. All right, Pat, who would your guy be?
I think if I were to, my first thought was John Rahm, but the problem with John Rahm is he actually had a good one at the Open. So I'll give him, and I think it has to be not really that great all the way through, all of them. Okay. Maybe some highlights, some moments. Okay.
Okay.
So I think the easy answer might be Jordan Spieth, but I'm going to go with Cam Young.
Okay. Cam Young. I'm
going with Cam Young.
Yeah. So Cam Young, just to recap, T9 at Augusta, started off strong.
Yeah.
Okay. T63 at the PGA, 67th at the US Open, 31st at the Open. Just maybe kind of
came out of the gates hot, with a good, good start. but then it just kind of fizzled
Yeah,
out.
yeah. He definitely, made some swift changes early. Had a lot of momentum coming off January 6th. Cam Smith did
Yeah.
at the Masters, and then it just from there, he just he fizzled. Um, it's funny you mentioned John Rahm. I thought about John Rahm as well, partially because we saw him we saw him withdraw at the U.S. Open, and he started withdrawing from the People's View, which we've seen. He also, you know, it happened. Joe Biden withdrew on National Ice Cream Day. John Rahm, I cannot confirm or deny, but seems like a big ice cream guy. I would imagine he's a pretty big ice cream guy. But to go out strong like he did is antithetical to, I think, how President Biden's going out. So that one didn't make the cut for me. Um, I put a little less emphasis on the start and more on the finish, and that is why Rory McIlroy is
Oh
is,
yeah,
is
that's
my
too
guy.
easy for you. That's too
I mean,
easy.
he you know the final stretch, the home stretch, he just didn't show up for the Open, and then he admitted to quitting. I mean, like he quitted. He quitted. The way it ended, I'll compare it.
I
Yeah,
didn't even pay attention because I was not. It was disappointing. So I didn't even hear that he quitted.
he did quit it. He said he quitted. He said, I got to be honest, after the first few holes on Friday, or yeah, whatever it was, like he knew he was out and he bailed. And guys like Max Homa, Justin Thomas, Robert McIntyre, Joaquin Neiman made
They
some.
battled.
They battled, and Rory just said, "Nope, I think I want to go. I want to go lay down and
He
eat
took
ice
his
cream."
ball and ran home.
Yeah. So good comments in the chat here. That was good. A lot of agreement on the Rory take there, so that was nice. All right. Anything else on the Open? Man, it really sucks we have to wait so long to get another major. It does feel like they just come in a flurry now that we don't have one in August.
Some would say the Olympics is a major.
It's not.
It's not.
Definitely not.
We do have people in the chat, easy, that think that it's a major. But I'm just saying,
I mean, I can understand to a player. I can understand to a player who has national pride, would love to represent their country, having a medal, earning a medal would definitely feel quite close to a major. I get that.
yeah,
Um, it is probably means more to them than it would like winning the Players Championship or the FedEx Cup or whatever. Like I can see that representing your country and winning for your country would be a big deal, but it doesn't. It is not a major from any other standpoint.
no,
Darren in the chat brings up any 2025 major bets. He brings up Tom Kim. What if it's the year of the Kims next year or the just M's? What if because Sung Jae is not a Kim, but he's an M. Like you could have a Sung Jae, Siwoo, Tom, SH, all kind of M's.
SH might be the way to go because he's got the sh and the M.
Oh, that's true. He has this year's sound and
Yeah.
next year's sound. Kim.
Yeah.
Damn, huh? We cracked the code. If that happens, we are living in a simulation. I'm going full Joe Rogan here. We're living in a simulation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Olympics is not a major. Easy's out of his mind.
I don't know if he really said that. I think he did say it was better than the Ryder Cup.
Okay. All right. Well, what else? Other than our final Open Championship recap is that both of our fades missed the cut. Both fades in the season-long bet missed the cut, which
I'd like to say I was happy about it, but I'm not.
You shouldn't be happy about that.
I'm not happy about it.
You should not be happy about that. We have 5 more events left by my count. I'm currently leading by roughly $1 million. So I'm excited about that. We did have some first timers, I guess, or people that just didn't pay attention in general last week comment and ask what the season long bet was about. So you got to pay attention. You got to listen every week. That's all I got to tell you. But and I'll recap it on another day where we don't have so much to cover. But I'm pumped about that. we'll get to that. Well, we probably should victory lap a little bit because we had some good calls. I mean, we didn't hit Xander outright. I feel like Xander just kind of I feel like the whole industry kind of glossed over Xander. I definitely saw some people that hit him, but very few.
Yeah.
Our boy Golf Tips Checker was in the chat last week. Very few on the Golf Tips Checker hotline picked Xander to win. You had Russell Henley up there, which was nice, battling. I don't think I really had much going on. I don't remember. I had Rahm, but shout out to our boy John Catlin, our friend John Catlin, cashing the top 40 at plus 420. Finished T16 or T17. Should have hit him top 20. Looked fantastic out there. Shout out to me for flipping my low amateur pick on the Wednesday Night Live chat to Callum Scott at plus 650. Threw that one out on SoBet. Hit a couple matchups on SoBet as well. And then freaking missed a couple bets by the hair on my chin with freaking Corey Connor's ass, losing to Mackenzie Hughes, his top Canadian. Did hit Hideki again for the second major in a row at even money, top Japanese player. That was easy. It was over after Friday. What were some other highlights? I crushed round 1 props again for the people in Underdog. Underdog Price Picks crushed the props in the Discord. It was a profitable round 1 yet again. Pat, what about you? Anything else? What'd you do? Did you do anything important?
I'm trying to check. Mainly Henley was up there, and I had him at 125 to 1 on the card. I don't think my top 20's hit. Koepka wasn't in the top 20, was he?
Nope. He ejected. No. It was disappointing. His was disappointing.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, I don't really have much else out there.
So. Okay. All right, let's get to our season long update, season long bets and fades. Want to shout out our friends at SoBet. First of all, I just mentioned I hit some bets on SoBet. Cash some unis on SoBet. Had the John Catlin play on there. Had the Callum Scott play on there at plus 650. If you're not already on SoBet or involved in SoBet, what are you even doing? Get involved. Link is in the description. When you click that link, code TJ should fill. You'll get your first month for $1, and every month after that for just 33 cents a day. Less than $10 a month. You get access to 60 plus of the best handicappers around. Tons of sharp people, sharp bettors betting every sport imaginable every single day, all vetted and verified by SoBet. And transparency is a must by the bettors. So they give you who they like. They tell you why they like them. Unit allocations, win or lose. That's what happens on SoBet. So quit getting your betting tips from people on TikTok and Twitter for free. Go to SoBet. You get what you pay for. Pay up a little bit. Get some good transparency. Sub to some of those really sharp bettors in there. You will not regret it. They're printing units over there like crazy. And for football season, it's going to be huge. So link in the description. Check out SoBet. Pat, you have the honors for this week's fade, which I feel like is kind of nice. I mean, it's good for you. You get first pick in this gaggle of weird names at the 3M Open. It's a weak field. Now we probably should say, because we are at risk, I think, of withdrawals. I don't see any that have happened thus far at the top, but it could happen. Some of these guys coming over from the Open could decide they don't want to play. If that happens, we will need to if it happens to one of us, we will need to officially submit our fades to producer Tony as well as the Discord, just to keep full accountability.
Okay, I agree, because my guy probably is going to maybe withdraw, but I'm going with Billy Horschel at 30 to 1.
All right, Billy Ho, 30 to 1. This is scary. I'm gonna go with Sahith.
Probably not a bad play. He has not been good here, but it just seems like it should be a good course for him. But
yeah, I mean, he's not been good here. He's been quite average here. Did miss the cut at the Open. I'd imagine he got home fine and is rested, and I'm not worried about that necessarily. Played well at the Genesis Scottish. I mean, he's definitely, Sahith can pop anywhere, that's for sure. I guess I worry a little bit about his just spraying the driver a little bit out here. Even though the fairways are wide, the rough's not all that penal. There's some water out here between his driver and irons. You do have a lot of penalty shots at TPC Twin Cities based on people finding the agua. And he has the occasional squirrely shot, as we know about Sahith. So I guess of this group, I'll go Sahith. It kind of feels strange, I will say, to fade him over a guy like Luke Clanton, the young Florida State kid who has just come out fire in 4 PGA Tour starts. It feels like he should be the fade, but I don't. I would actually rather fade Sahith, and you would clearly rather fade Billy Horschel than Luke Clanton. What do you think about Luke Clanton at 28-1?
I mean, the number just, I don't know. It seems very short for a guy that's, only played a handful of events, but he's just playing great. I mean, he's really, it hasn't seemed to affect him. And it's just like, again, we talk about this a lot, but when like Victor came out and Morikawa and Wolf and those guys, they came out and won pretty soon. He's obviously talented enough to win, and I think he could win this. So I looked at him as a fade just because I think the 28-1 number seems crazy, but I don't want to fade him. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure I do either. Shot 8 under on round 1 and round 4 of the John Deere Classic to finish runner up there. He wasn't really close to Davis Thompson, but he was there. The 28-1 number feels strange. I don't know that I'll end up actually hitting it for DB's Big Balls betting card purposes, but I mean, this does feel like a tournament where, guys with a little extra motivation, guys with that maybe a little more well rested. It feels ripe for a long shot, given the lack of strength at the top, plus all the variance with the water and just the weak field. It does feel like long shot season makes it really tough to bet a freaking guy who's played 4 PGA Tour events and he's 28-1. Like, it makes it hard to do that. I will say that I don't care about the lack of course history here. I don't think TPC Twin Cities is a hard course to figure out. That doesn't matter to me. So yeah, but that being said, tough to pull the trigger for me as well on a lot of guys up here. And it does make me feel a little strange to bet Luke and not just bet Akshay, who's obviously now won twice on tour. Has been playing fantastic. I didn't expect him to play well at the Open. A lot of people did. I was on the right side of that one. But I don't care that he hasn't played here either. But he's just 6 points shorter. I understand that. But Akshay, being a guy who we know can close, if I was going to bet one guy up here, I think that might be who it is. But I don't think I want anyone up here, honestly. This is long shot season territory.
Yeah, I agree. I think Akshay is the one that I like the most up here. But yeah, it is long shot season, and I think that's what we're going to get. We got it last year. If you really want to bet a favorite, you could bet Finau, but I think you got to juice the number somehow. Like, I don't get excited about it. So
I don't think I want to. Yeah, I don't think I want to bet Finau. Like, even if I did juice the number, I know he's cream of the crop here, but yeah, I don't know. Anybody can win here, dude. Anybody. Lee Hodges set the tournament record here last year. Came out of nowhere, and freaking, Matt Wolff won as a rookie, which kind of makes a case for a guy like Luke Clanton. The first year they played here, he came out and won. Like, I just think this is a long shot situation. There's no chance I'm betting Tony Finau.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I mentioned the bubble. Like, you do have some of these. This is now when we start. It seems like the FedEx Cup playoffs kind of snuck up on us too. You've got this event and the Wyndham. So you've got this event, then the Olympics, which does not count for FedEx Cup points, then the Wyndham. So 2 more events to get your FedEx Cup points. And just so that people understand kind of what's at stake here, I want to remind people, because we'll be talking about this for this week and the Wyndham. Your bubbles are really the top 50 and the top 70. That's really what matters over the next 2 weeks. The top 50 are fully exempt through 2025. they get into the players, and they get into all the signature events automatically for 2025. That is the big difference. If you are 51 through 70, you're obviously in the playoffs. Only 70 guys go in the FedEx Cup playoffs. You are also fully exempt for 2025, but you are not guaranteed access into all signature events next year. So the bubbles are top 50 and top 70. If you're outside the top 70, then you're going to miss the playoffs, which all these guys want to make the playoffs. And then you go into the FedEx fall situation. So guys on the bubble would, I'm sure, like to avoid. There's also the President's Cup bubble, which is creeping up. Akshay's a guy on that bubble. So a little extra motivation is for Akshay to continue playing well. I think he'll probably be selected if he doesn't qualify on points. But I do think that's something to start paying attention to. Nobody up here really in the FedEx Cup bubble situation that I'm interested in. So that kind of takes care of the top range. Let's move on to the next spot. I got a lot of names in here, and I have no idea how in the world I'm going to narrow this down. I will say there does look to be some wind moving in to TPC Twin Cities currently on the weekend. But if that starts to move up into Friday, maybe even Thursday, that'll be interesting to see if there's any sort of weather advantage. Right now, I don't really see one. We had one last week, but we always do at the Open. We'll talk more about lessons learned from that there in the DFS show. But this is a tough range to narrow it down. Is there anybody in here that you're just like locked in on for sure, or are you like me? You're not really sure where to go? I could throw out 10 names in here that I'm looking at.
There's so many names in here that I think I will give you the ones I feel the best about. I like EVR a lot.
I do like
40
EVR.
to 1. Shows up well in the BTN model. He's fourth in the model there.
He's also 56 in the FedEx Cup, so he's on that top 50 bubble. He's a Minnesota Golden Gopher, as we know, and he's on the President's Cup kind of bubble. He's down the list a little bit. He'd have to be a selection, but he's got a lot of motivation to play well up here.
Yes, he does. I really like Mav McNeely. I think maybe there's a chance that Mav can come up. He hasn't played great lately when you look at, he missed the cut at the Open, missed the cut at the John Deere. But I think Mav has played, fairly well for the most part this year. He's 32nd in the BTN model. I think you can get him as long as 50 to 1. So I do like Mav, and I feel pretty good about him. I think Nick Dunlap could easily go back-to-back with a win last week like he got.
Yep, I was just about to ask you about your thoughts on him. I can't. How crazy is that, too, that guy's won twice? One as an amateur, and then the first person to ever win as an amateur and a pro in the same year on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, it's very impressive. I mean, Dunlap, and he's, he kind of, after he won, he the first time at the American Express, he seemed like he was, he kind of struggled a little bit once he turned pro, but he's really got it back now, and he is super talented, and I think he's going to win a lot. So he's another one up there that I would not be afraid to try to go back-to-back on.
Yeah. Oof. I mean, we saw around this time of year, we saw Luke Glover go back-to-back. Dunlap at 45 still feels decent. I think he even with his points at the Barracuda, he is 63rd in the FedEx Cup, so he's approaching that 50 bubble, probably safely inside the 70, I would imagine. Yeah, I mean, he feels like a decent value, I guess, at 45, knowing the firepower that the guy's got. He could definitely close the door. All right, so I'm looking at a couple names here. Should we just will this to happen for old Tom Hoagie, the Minnesota native, at 35? I think 35 is kind of long for as good as he's hit it here, as good as he's been hitting it most of the season. It turns into kind of an iron putting contest. He's gained strokes putting at this event 3 out of 5 years at the 3M Open, T20, T4 in his last 2 starts here at the 3M. What do you think about Hoagie at 35?
Yeah, I like Hoagie. I think, like you said, he's a native. Went to University of Minnesota. I think he's
I thought he went to TCU.
certainly
Hoagie went to
or
TCU.
he went to TCU. Sorry, he's from
He's
Minnesota.
from
yeah.
Minnesota, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Hoagie.
I bet I could interest you in a guy who needs a big FedEx bump. He's number 88. Could I interest you in Sam Stevens?
Yes, you can. He was one of the other names I wrote down.
He checks a lot of boxes for me.
50 to 1.
Yeah. 55, I think, on FanDuel. He was 55 earlier on FanDuel. T10 here last year.
And playing well this year. I mean, leading up, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like it. He's 23rd in my Bet the Number model, which I have made public, by the way. If you're not already on Bet the Number, get involved. You can click on the link in the description, betthenumbergolf.com. We'll have it up and running, my model live for everybody for the rest of the year if you want to get in on that. Now the new tournament recap feature has been added, making further improvements to that. It's your one-stop shop for golf data and analytics, strokes gain data, licensed from the PGA Tour, with folks behind the scenes making the calls on how to build the models and what to value, what stats to value, how to weight them. Folks behind the scenes making those calls at every PGA Tour event on site, have been for the last few years, have worked with the Ryder Cup data team in the past, understands what it takes to handicap the golf courses and the players. So check out betthenumbergolf.com. Link in the description. Code TJ gets you $5 off, or $5 off each month, or $50 off the annual subscription, where you can DM myself or Pat in the Discord and get an additional bonus if you are a paying member of the Discord. And Stevens ranks quite highly in my model that I took a lot of cues from the Bet the Number model that's published and added some things. Actually removed one thing, which I don't normally do, but I did. So I kind of mixed it up a little bit. A guy in this range who is 5th in DB's model is 60 to 1, and it's Johnny Vegas, runner up here last year because he found the putter. And that's all it ever takes usually for Johnny Vegas. But he is a PGA Tour winner. He is hitting it quite well. We know bombers can do well if they can, keep it out of the water here. 60 to 1 on MGM for Johnny Vegas was another one that stood out to me.
Yeah, I like Johnny Vegas too. Definitely been playing well lately. So I think that 60 to 1 number is a good number. What about Ben Griffin there, right around that same number? Can I enter in Ben Griffin?
We'll see. I have him written down. I think, can I just be honest? I like Ben Griffin as a person. Interviewed him a couple years ago. Great kid, super nice. He is in my TikTok algorithm, and he does these TikToks every week.
Oh yeah, he does the TikToks.
With
his
very
boring sounding.
It's awful, with his girlfriend Dana.
Yeah,
and he just says her name like a dozen times per video. Oh, I'm traveling with Dana this week to the Scottish Open, and me and Dana, here's me and Dana's hotel, and here's the snacks me and Dana brought, and me and Dana are watching this on the TV, and me and Dana went by the grocery store and picked up this because Dana has a gluten allergy. And I'm like, can we shut up about Dana? I am so sick of hearing about Dana. So I think I'm starting to develop a block for Ben Griffin because I'm sick of his girlfriend on TikTok, and I like him.
I don't. Well, never mind. I'm not going to say that. I don't want to alienate all the people out there that may have.
I'm sure she's very nice, but I'm sure she's a nice girl. But gosh, shut up. I don't know. So I think I'm out on Ben and Dana. I think they come as a package deal. Okay, what about a guy who's got 3 top 10s in his last 4 starts against crappy fields, a lot like this one? And I think a lot could be credited to a putter that's kind of flashing. And this can turn into who can make a lot of putts. What about Rico Hoey at 65?
Rico.
You want
You
to
know,
catch a
Big
little
P would love that.
Who?
Big P, my dad.
Is your dad is Big P a Rico fan?
He's a Rico fan. He got
Dang,
him in
huh?
our season long contest in the Nut
That's
Hut,
right.
and he
That's
sent this.
right.
He sent this. Let me tell you what he did. He sends me this message, and it's just like Rico Hoey, and I'm like, and then he sends
all this
another
message.
message,
Yeah.
and then he sends another message, and he's like, where do I stand in the season long contest? And I'm like, I mean, look, give another shout out to Easy here. Easy has Scotty Scheffler, and he's got like a $20 million lead.
It's literally 20. I think it's $25 to $30 million lead. If
And
you're in
my
the Discord,
dad, yeah,
if you're
my
in the
dad
Discord
thinks that
God
because
dang it, your fucking delay. If you're in the Discord at the end of every year, we'll do a season long draft with members of the Discord, and our boy Easy got to pick first, and he picked Scotty, and he basically won the league like 6 weeks in because no one is ever going to be able to catch him. But Pat's dad was in the league. That's why he was texting Pat when Rico was wasn't he in the playoff at that thing, the ISCO,
yes,
to see where he stood. And it literally, no one has really cared to look since like the Heritage because Easy just ran away with it, having Scotty Scheffler. So also funny that your dad just texted Rico Hoey.
Yes, and he is also in second to last place, even
Along
with
with you,
Rico
right?
Hoey's. Yeah, I'm last. Yeah,
Yeah. You the Perry boys not
he
really
did not bring it.
representing. I'm in the middle, but it doesn't matter because nobody's getting that
Doesn't
money.
matter at
all. Yeah, I think Rico's my last guy in here that I'm like close to pulling the trigger on. There's other names that are interesting to me. Chan Kim, Mac Meisner, I'm a little in on.
Oh, my boy Mac.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Let's see. I gotta narrow this thing down. There could be a pop the cork and let it breathe play in here somewhere. I don't know for me this week. All right, let's move on to the next range, up to 125 to 1. Okay. I can't. Well, I have a thing. I must have something going on for Seamus Power because literally every week I'm in on Seamus Power, and he's not been bad, but I can't. I feel like the numbers are fair for him. His odds are fair. He's a winner on tour. Like okay. Here's another week. He's 26th in my model this week. He's 80 to 1 on MGM. He's on the FedEx bubble at number 65 right now. What is my, like, am I okay? Am I going to be okay?
Yes, you'll be fine. Don't worry.
Okay.
One day Seamus will come through for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that makes me feel a lot better. You did a great job there.
Yeah, you should feel good. You should feel good about that.
I think Shipley's at 80 to 1 here, which I'm kind of in on Neil, on big titty Neil.
Yeah.
Neil Titley, if you know what I mean, huh?
3M Open.
I mean, the dude's he'll have the best cans in Minnesota. And I know because I've been to Minnesota.
I mean,
when you send two Southern boys from Georgia to Minnesota, I don't know how. They must import, like, if you're married in Minnesota, you must have imported your wife from somewhere else because there's no way you found her in Minnesota. If you're a listener and you're offended by this, then somehow send us a picture of your. It doesn't even have to. She doesn't even have to be super hot. If she's semi-attractive and from Minnesota, send a picture and prove it because I just don't. I actually don't. I don't think that's real, and I might piss off a lot of people with that, but it's just not real. And so there is a chance Neil Shipley's tits steal the show in Minnesota this week at 80 to 1. I mean, do you disagree with me, Pat? You were there.
I don't know, Tony. I'll throw. Tony says it's the flat-chested capital of the world. I don't know if that's true. I don't. I mean, I don't know.
It's the thick-wristed capital of the world, is what it is. Minnesota, a lot of thick-wristed chicks up there. A lot of now if we had a national, competition of, hey, you send out your best 9 softball players versus our best 9 softball players. If we had one of those, they might be really good at that. But beauty contest, they're not happening.
I would.
Chris Draper. Oh, life's ugly, but from Minnesota. Oh dear, Drape. No way, Drape. You're a handsome guy. I don't believe it. Check her birth certificate or something. She can't be.
See, I would think that if you're in Minnesota,
dude, there's going to be men hitting on Neil Shipley when he shows up. He's gonna get catcalled in the ropes, and then because he's got the long hair, he's got the tits, and they're gonna think that that's some player's wife walking around, and dudes from members at TBC Twin Cities are gonna be catcalling Neil Shipley. And this is a sober take. Like I'm drinking water. It's 4:00 in the afternoon.
Well, it's 5:20, but I mean,
well, yeah, you get it. We started with there was a 4 in the front.
Don't you think that Minnesotans, like the women there, I mean, it's cold, so like it's a cold state. And so you would think that they have to adapt with larger endowments to keep them warm over years.
Yeah. Well, they do naturally layer. I guess it just doesn't translate as well. And they don't get a lot of sun up there either. They don't see their skin doesn't see a lot of sun. So Minnesota probably would have been a hotbed. They probably would have done better in the 20s or something when like real pale ladies were in vogue.
Anyway, I kind of like Ben Silverman.
Me too. I got him written down here too.
Yeah, I like Ben Silverman.
I like this range a lot. Power, Mrs. Shipley, Silverman. I had written down. I got 2 more. Who else you got? I've named a couple. Who else?
I think Hayden Springer is interesting to me. At 100-1, coming off a top 10 at the something, and then the John Deere Classic. What was that? Oh, Rocket Mortgage was top 10. I think Hayden Springer's interesting. He's one that can go low. I think you get him in the birdie type fest, he can definitely do that. Evidenced by the, what he did at the John Deere with the T7 at 21 under. The other one that I just keep going to, and I think that it's going to eventually pay off. He's not on every betting card. I have not done that. So, but and he did withdraw last week. So I need to know why he withdrew. Daniel Berger.
Yeah, he had a knee. I think it was a knee thing.
So maybe I won't take him. He is showing up well in the BTN model, but I just think eventually he's coming around. But that one is more of like a gut play. But if he's got a bad injury, I probably won't play him, obviously.
I looked at Hayden Springer. I think I'd rather have Pearson Cootie at 100-1 on FanDuel. I like the way Cootie's been trending, hitting it well off the tee, putting it really, really well. And if this turns into a putting contest, which I think it very well could, I like that. Mr. Opposite of that is Kevin Yu, who can't putt to save his life. But as we've seen, there are guys like Cam Champ, like Matt Wolf's not a good putter. That can come here and win and play well. And I mean, they're pure bent grass greens. They're as pure as they get. They're not super complex. They're not hard to figure out. So just start it on your line and it'll probably get there. I think they're fairly fast as well. So Kevin, you may be interesting to me, but Cootie, I think I like more than him. All right, let's move on. Any more bombs? Any final bombs?
One bomb, Grayson Sigg at 200-1.
I think Grayson's putter is broken. Have you seen what he's been doing with the putter? I looked at him, but god dang, dude.
Yeah.
He couldn't putt at the Barracuda. He lost 5 strokes putting at the Isco. He lost 5 strokes putting at the Rocket. What is he doing?
I'm hoping that because he's getting on a course where he's finished top 10 before, He's 16th also in the BTN model. So he's doing some good things. Obviously, the approach play's been good. So I think he can. I think he can get it back this week. I like Sig at I mean, it's 200 to 1.
I may, there's a chance I just piss off whiny golf betting Twitter with a card that is like 15 people long. And then you get people going, oh yeah, why don't you tell us the guys you didn't bet on? And then I'll just be like, oh, okay. You don't understand how units work, I guess, because I may completely not even bet on anyone until like EVR or Mrs. Shipley, and just hammer guys all the way down here. Like I'll start at the longest. Lonto Griffin at 220, who's hitting it really well. Just needs to find the putter for a week, and he's there. He's a winner on tour. Cam Champ. This is a Cam Champ course. Guess what? Cam Champ has come into this tournament with horrible form before and won and played fine. I think the year he won, he had a good finish the week before, but then before that, he was trash. He had another solid finish another year, and before that, he was trash. He's trash now. It doesn't matter. Cam Champ loves this place. He's 170 on FanDuel. Joel Damon is 170 on FanDuel. Very different skill set, but I mean, a Lee Hodges type skill set. It's plenty of fairways, hits his irons well, needs to find the putter. 170 for Joel Damon. And then two guys at 150, young guys who've shown up at times, had some decent finishes. Chandler Phillips and Carson Young, the Mustache Boys, the Mustache contingent. 150 to 1. Like all five of those guys, I could easily see winning this thing. Lee Hodges boat raced the field here last year.
He didn't come in the best form.
Right.
So, I mean.
And all types of players can do it here. Like I was looking at the course record. It's a tie between Bryson, Scott Piercy, Lucas Glover, Bo Hostler. Like that's all kind of different guys. Hit it far, some don't. Some putt it well. Lucas Glover putts terribly. So I might just have a card with so many outs but it's still 5.5 units or whatever I spend that I normally spend, and people will go crazy because they don't understand math. But yeah. All right. I think that's it for me. Let's talk about top 20 locks and bombs. Get out of here. Who are your top 20 locks, Patrick?
I don't know.
You don't have any?
Well, I don't see any top 20s.
Oh, they were up this morning. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You told me that. Yeah. For some reason, DraftKings took them down.
I mean, I can pull Bet 365 right now if you want me to, and I can give you two that I think.
Let me look on. Yeah, you do that while I look around.
Well, I like Hoagie at plus 175. I like him for a top 20. And then
okay. I like Hoagie, obviously, so I'm in with that.
I gotta keep going with my boy Mac Meisner at plus 260. He's the top 20 machine. Almost won last week.
Oof. Okay. At what number?
Plus 260.
Ooh, that's a big one. Okay, those are your two locks, huh?
Yep.
Well, I mean, I wrote them down when DraftKings had them up, and I just looked on DraftKings, FanDuel, and MGM, and they don't have any top 20s up. I don't know, but I'll go off the number that I had on DraftKings earlier today. Akshay was still plus money, plus 130, which probably means you could get him even money on MGM to pay out full in ties. And if I can get him even money, I'll take a shot on Akshay. By the way, Clanton was plus 160 if you're interested in that. But the next lock for me was a plus 210 lock, and that was EVR. So I'll go EVR and Akshay. Give me a bomb.
I'm going to go with Hayden Springer at plus 400.
Do you like Springer that much more than like Damon, Lauer, Cam Champ?
I mean, it's close with Damon, but I don't know about the others. I think I like Springer. I feel good about him this week.
I like Lauer. I feel like Lauer's got to do something at some point. I'll go Cam Champ. I think Cam Champ at plus 550. Plus 550 top 20. We're gonna know early. You're gonna know early whether that bet's gonna cash. You'll know on Friday whether that bet cashes or not. If he makes the cut, he's gonna top 20. If he doesn't, obviously he's not. It's that simple. We're gonna know.
Yeah.
With Cam Champ. All right, that's it. That is the 3M betting show. Check out the DFS show. We're going to do a few more questions from listeners about the Open recap. Yeah, catch us next week for the Olympics. Catch me at least, maybe Pat, this week for the Live Golf London preview show, betting preview show. Beautiful new course. Man, this place looks unbelievable. That'll be really good. We'll get some info from our caddy friends, our player friends on Live to find out how that course is looking after they get a couple practice rounds in, and we'll record and put that up on YouTube and all the podcast feeds on Wednesday or Thursday. So check that out. And yeah, next week back for the Olympics. All right. May your screens be green. No, wrong show. Bend over your bookies. See ya. Out.